So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey friends, welcome back. I am Jason, and I figured I'd zero in my rifle today. I've got it close, got it on paper, but I don't have it zeroed. So I figured today's as good a day as any. It's pretty cold, it's about 30 degrees, but there's no wind right now, which is nice. So I'm gonna step off to about 100 yards and get this thing zeroed in. The reason I'm doing this is because I got a new optic. I picked up a 3X primary arms optic, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm an iron sights guy. I like iron sights. I love the nostalgia of iron sights. I love the reliability of iron sights. I like everything about iron sights, but there's no question, no doubt, there is a distinct advantage to having an optic, a magnified optic. The precision enhancement, the ability to put that bullet exactly where you want it. There's no denying it. Now, I don't like batteries. This one has an illuminated reticle, but it also works without the battery. If the battery was to die, it would still work, so that's nice. But I don't like batteries for the most part, so I've been really hesitant to put an optic on my rifle. But today is the day. I got it zeroed. I want to get it zeroed in, and we're gonna see the difference. I was at 100 yards, I was shooting probably, I don't know. Let's call it 8-inch groups, give or take, with iron sights. Give or take. You know, just plopping down into the prone and popping off a few rounds. I was getting probably, let's say, 8-inch groups at 100 yards with my iron sights. You know, they're pretty chunky front sight. We're gonna see what that compares to when we have this optic on there. But first we got to clear a little bit of weeds out of the way. This machete needs some love. Picked this one up off the shelf here. Hadn't used it in a while. I figured I like variety. You know, I figured I'd use a different one today. This one definitely needs some sharpening for sure. A little bit of wind here, but not much. Gonna rest a couple minutes. Heart rate's a little bit up from chopping, weed eating. You know how it is. I want to make sure that I have it as perfect of a shot as I can get to get this thing zeroed in. There's 3 shots. Let's go see what we're dealing with. I like simplicity as much as possible with everything that I have. I like less options. I like less moving parts as much as possible. I love bolt action rifles, you know. I like this optic because it's a set 3 power, you know. There's no adjustment. Yeah, would it be nice to be able to zoom in, be able to see a little bit closer on my target, of course, a 9 power, 12 power. I mean, the more magnification you can get for precision shots, the better, of course. But that optic, set at 3 power, works at 100 meters. It'll work at 200 meters. It'll work at 10 meters. And for that reason, I like it. I don't want options. I don't have to mess with stuff. I don't want to dial anything. I don't want to forget that I have it set on 12 power. When I really needed it too, you know. So I like things that are simple. What do you guys think about that in the comment section? Would you prefer, you know, a variable optic? Would you prefer, or really any gear? Do you like adjustments? I don't. I want stuff to stay the same all the time, like a flashlight. I say this all the time. I want a flashlight that turns on and turns off. That's what I want. I don't want options. I don't want settings. I don't want strobes. I don't want any of that stuff. I just want it to turn on. I want it to turn off. That's what I want. I don't like things that adjust. The stock on my rifle. I don't need the stock to move in and out. I don't. I want the stock to be set at one length for me. That's it. That's just how my mind works. Let me know what you guys think about options. I like restaurants that have very few things on the menu. I like to walk into a restaurant. I would love a restaurant that you could walk into and that's what's for dinner. You just sit down and food comes your way. That's what I would like. At 100 meters, right there, I was aiming right here. My reticle was right there. The center of the mouth is what I was aiming for. So it appears I've got about a 2.5 inch group, which is not too shabby. And it appears that I'm about, I'd say 2.5 inches low. If we average these out right here, if we drew a circle around these and we average them out, that's about the average, I guess. So we're gonna call this our where we're currently zeroed. I need to move up about 2 inches. So I'll adjust my optic 2 inches up and then we'll take a few more shots. So that is 4 for 1 inch. That is 8 for 2 inches. So that's what I got to do. Eight. Hold that one a little bit. Guys, real quick, I'm trying to build up an Amazon store. So I'm putting just about all the gear that I carry on a regular basis, at least all the stuff that I could find on Amazon. I'm putting it on my store, and I'll put a link in the description and in the comment section. So if you're interested in any of the gear that I use on a regular basis, minus the gun stuff, that probably won't be on Amazon. For the most part, the optic might. Haven't looked. I'll take a look. But before I swear by this thing, and before I, generally speaking, all the gear that I use, before I would put it on there, on my store, or recommend it in any shape or form, I'd want to use it for a long time to ensure that it's reliable, it's got value, and I wouldn't recommend it to you otherwise. So, all right, I think this is just user error here. I knew I pulled that one, but these three are not as tight as I'd like to see them. So, and this is my point of aim right there, that eyeball. So I'm gonna move my point of aim. Maybe I'll move it. Maybe I'll aim right here or something like that. And then we'll make a few more shots just to confirm where it's hitting, because I feel like that was probably me pulling those shots. I know someone in the comment section is going to bring up the question, why? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you running around like a militiaman? You know, I'm not. It's not what I'm trying to do. I believe that we should have and be able to use firearms to be able to protect ourselves, to be able to protect our rights, to be able to keep the evil at bay. I think that we should have these things. I think that we should use them responsibly. I think that we should be able to use them effectively if needed. And it's not good enough to just go buy all the things. A lot of guys go buy all the things. They got 100 guns in the closet and they haven't shot any of them. Can't hit the broadside of a barn. They'll tell you that they can. They'll tell you they can shoot the gnat's left wing off at 300 paces, but in real life, in the real world, that's what I'm shooting right there. So if I needed to use this gun for some form or fashion, for some reason, that would be my result right now, because I haven't put in the time to zero it in and to practice with it. So that's what I'm doing today. Do I think I'm going to be running around like I'm in the militia with all my homies geared up in the near future? No, absolutely not. And that is like the worst case scenario. things have gone really, really wrong if that's where we're at in the world. You may disagree. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. But I do believe, and I've said this plenty of times before, that we should train for the worst case scenario. Our training should reflect the worst case scenario. So when the real thing comes, it's not that big a deal. Do I foresee needing this tool right here to be able to take care of business in the near future? Nope. And I hope I'm right. I pray every single day that I'm right. But let's get zeroed in just in case. In case the aliens attack tomorrow. I think for the most part we've gotten soft as Americans, as a society, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here. And I'm not different. I've gotten soft too, you know. I mean, imagine how tough our great grandparents were, our pioneer grandparents, the fur trappers. Who was I watching? I was watching a documentary on what's his name? Don't tell me. Famous fur trapper, frontiersman. Shoot, what's his name? Let me think of it. But basically, think about how tough those individuals were that were out there on the frontier, you know, before any form of established society existed out there. You know what I mean? It was just wild and crazy, and at every turn, someone could be attempting to kill you, or something could be attempting to kill you. At every turn, you know. Every bend in the river was a new dangerous thing that you had to be cautious of, be aware of. How crazy is that, you know, that we live in such a soft, civilized society these days where you don't have to watch out. You don't have to watch your back at every second, I guess, depending on where you live in the world. But our ancestors were tough, man. They could endure some pretty miserable conditions, probably with a smile on their face. And I want to be more like that. I think that we should aspire to be more like our ancestors. So I was aiming right here for that spot, right there. And here's my group. I've got roughly an 1.5 inch group, give or take. It's 1/2 inch. Now I'm not using match grade ammo here. I'm just using the cheap whatever. I forget what this is. I just threw it all into an ammo can. It's whatever the cheapest ammo at the time was. So with really, really good ammo, it makes a big difference actually. I've got a bolt action rifle that when you use cheap ammo in it, you know, pretty good sized groups like that. But when you put really good match grade ammo in there, those groups shrink down to really, really small. I've gotten 1/2 inch groups out of that bolt action rifle. So we'll get it pretty dang zeroed in with the cheap ammo, because that's what I'm gonna be shooting most of the time. I guess I could further refine this by putting in a select ammo and only using that select ammo. But do I really need that kind of precision? I don't know. I was using iron sights before. Good grief. I guess I can't be too picky. This is a big improvement on my accuracy for sure. I mean, around here, the furthest I can see is, you know, generally speaking, most places, 50 yards in the woods is about as far as you're ever going to see in the woods, if that. Get out in these fields, you know, you might see a couple 100 yards, maybe 300, possibly 400. If there's a stretch here, I might be able to see 400 meters, 400 yards in a straight line here. Maybe, you know, it's a pretty long ways, but why would I be shooting that far, you know? 200 meters and in, I feel like, is more than sufficient, generally speaking. And I think this setup that I've got going on here is going to be just fine for that. That right there should get us on the money. about as close as we're gonna get. I mean, that's where my point of aim was, right here. And I hit within an inch or two of it. So I'm gonna call that good. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna get a few more practice shots in here, maybe one more mag. Get a little more practice in, a little more trigger time. Confirm my 0 just to be sure. But I think we're pretty much there. Really do appreciate you watching, friends. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment, any comment will do. Tell me how much you hate what it is that I'm doing right now. That's fine, don't care, because even the negative comments are quite helpful. So until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3. This steel here at 100 meters used to be a challenge, you know, with iron sights, because my front sight was basically covering, it was basically the size of this whole target right here at 100 meters. But now it's just like bang, 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 no problem whatsoever hitting that steel target. I was aiming for the heart here, just kind of quick shots. And as you can see here, all fairly good shots. A couple of them rose up there a little bit. Aiming between the eyes. This is my point of aim. I think I shot 5 times. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably pulled a couple of them.